Hello, hello. Welcome to Sipping with the Sisters. This is a podcast that my best friend Katrina and I will be hosting. And it is a place where you can come and share your feelings and your thoughts about different things that are going on in our world and in your life. We know that God has given us power over things that are in this world. And so we are people that believe that although we are in this world, we are not of it, but we need one another. God made it so that Adam could not be alone. He made Eve. And that was because people need one another. So this is a place for us to lean on one another, to network, to encourage, inspire, and motivate one another. So I was thinking about a JPI event that I recently went to. That's a Justice Peer Initiative, right? And it was a group of individuals that were formerly incarcerated, but now they were doing big, great things. They spoke about the Commissioner of Corrections, who is a former inmate and now is in charge, making decisions. And that's really what's needed because that's someone that understands the system from the inside out. And so I thought about my own self and how that relates because I work in an alternative to incarceration program. And a lot of them, although they're not physically incarcerated, they are incarcerated in their minds. They come to us with a mentality where they feel they're stuck in the system, that their environment has dictated how their life is going to be, and they have to do certain things because of where they come from. But we want to break that mindset. We want to set captives free and let them know it does not have to be that way. And so, how many of you have ever spoken to someone that as much as you encourage them, as much as you try to set them free and let them know that they can do certain things, they'll tell you, I can't do it. They'll tell you that you don't understand where they come from, or you don't understand the resources that they have that are accessible to them. And they limit their own self. That is really a form of locking yourself up in a way. We can open the jail cells and let prisoners out physically, but are they out mentally? Are their minds free enough to let them go out and say, okay, I'm going to make something of myself. My ladder shall be greater. I'm going to trust God and I'm going to move forward into something that's better. And this podcast is really to just touch on different areas just like this one. And it's time that we kind of step out in faith, not fear. A lot of times, fear holds people back also, not just thinking about their circumstances, but fear of failure can be debilitating for some, that they won't step out because they say, what if I fail? But the only failure is really in not trying. As long as you're trying, you're not a failure. You're learning every time you go forth. And if you don't quite make it, you learn a lesson and then you do better the next time. So, in order to really move forth in what God has called all of us to do, because He's woken us up, we have to have a certain level of hope and we have to have a certain level of vulnerability. We have to be willing to be vulnerable, you know, to expose and let people know that we are not perfect. And it's okay if we slip up. So I was thinking about even when I'm coming on this evening and announcing the podcast, I said, okay, well, what if I don't say everything exactly right? But that's okay. That's showing my humanity. and that I'm human. But it's also showing, because I'm stepping out, that I'm trusting in God and relying on Him. Amen. And so you have to excuse me with my amens, but I'm also a minister, and God is a part of everything that I do. So even this podcast, with the inspiring and with the motivation and the encouragement, you're going to hear scriptures, you're going to hear things that have helped me and also helped my sister to grow to the level that we are right now, because we've come from a long way. Both of us are almost going to be 60 years old within the next 1 to 2 years. And we met each other when we were about 16 years old. And that's a long, long time to remain friends. And so we cherish that. We honor and respect one another. And this podcast is something that we're super excited about. And so, because I also work with veterans, that is a key area that I look at and focus on, is freeing them in their mind, even with the PTSD that they go through and they experience. That is a form of mental incarceration, and it can cause them to be stagnant. It can cause them to be fearful if their mind takes them back to a traumatic wartime event, for combat soldiers. But we also know that PTSD is not just exclusively veteran related. All of us, I believe, have some form of trauma that, if it's triggered, it will cause us to have an emotional response. So we have to be careful with that. We have to learn our triggers, and we have to learn how to manage them well. Amen. That we don't just lash out on people. We don't keep stuff pressured in us. So that's another great thing about this podcast. It allows us to have a voice, a place to vent feelings so they don't get bottled up. Because how many know, when you hold things inside that are bothering you and you act like it's not, there comes a time when that button is pressed and you jump, because it's been so pressed down. No one can hold their emotions down but for so long. Just like everything that's done in the dark, it's going to come to light. So let this be that type of platform. And so I'm thinking, for the platform and for the next time we come on, and I'm saying we because my sister will be with me at that time, we want to invite people that have been formerly incarcerated, and learn and talk with them about what they did to free their mind, not just getting out of the cell, but when they came home, how did they adapt? How did they integrate back into society and do something productive? Did they go to school? Did they find a good job? Did they get married? Did they have children? Did they learn how to drive and buy a car? Did they buy a home? All these things. And if those that did come out and don't have a good story, how can we help them? How can we connect them to the resources that they need so that they too can be successful? Because it takes a village. It's important to network. Amen. Network. We have to give God an opportunity to work. I say, a lot of times people will say, well, oh, I didn't think I can do that, but God. So for everyone that's watching, we want people to have a but God moment, a time where they, although may not feel physically up to in their ability to do something, that they just trust God and say, okay, I may not be able to do this and I don't feel like I can, but I know if I trust in God, He'll bring me through. So God bless you. I am excited about this podcast, and we will be reaching out to a lot of people so that they can be our guests. Enjoy your evening.